Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Hey.
Hello and welcome to Rising Consciousness
Welcome.
Podcast.
Hey. We're so excited to be here with you again for another beautiful episode. Today we are talking about your vision for what's next.
Yep.
What is next? So let's say you have been clearing out yourself, your consciousness, you've been healing, you've been transforming.
And you have a blank canvas now.
You have a blank canvas. You're in this great space and place where you're like, okay, I'm ready for what's next. And then you go, what's next?
What now?
What is next? What do I do? What do I create?
Yeah.
And a lot of times this comes, like, you might be laughing, but this happens sometimes for people where they do empty, they clear the slate, and then they freak out. It's usually the ego freaking out because it goes, oh my God, I don't know what to create next. There's so much. What do you mean I could create anything? Oh my God, I don't even know what to create. Like, we all want this sense of freedom, right? We want the total freedom to go, you could create anything you want. You have a magic wand. You are the genie in the bottle. And you're like, yay, I could hardly wait to be that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I am that.
I don't know what
I don't even know what to create,
I don't
right?
know.
You're like crickets. You don't even know what to create.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes because then it feels so overwhelming, right? Having our own personal power, having our own ability to create, having that magic wand, it becomes overwhelming. Because you're like, what do I create first? What do I create next? I don't know what to create next. I think I want this, but maybe I want that. Maybe I did it, right? And then all of a sudden the mind spins us in millions of loops, and then nothing gets created.
And this is beautiful. It's beautiful. I want to jump in here because when we're headed towards whatever we're creating, obviously we don't know what it is at that point in time, but this is what happens in that situation when we get the blank canvas. We're there, as Tara said, we start spinning in those loops. What's going on internally when that's happening? We're registering this feeling of uncertainty. We're registering this feeling of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? And all of these sorts of things. The energy that we're generating right then is a signature. It is something that's creating our experience, right? So then what we end up having for a while longer, just because we said so, is exactly that. That's what we end up spinning in, right? So I'll let Tara jump back in now, right? But here's what's going on. If we think like that, right? And we're thinking along those lines continuously, we're generating that field. The uncertainty in us sort of rises. It gets bigger, it gets larger, and we find ourselves then almost in a state of despair, right? We find ourselves in a state of despair, which is where most people get with this. Now, if you want to snap out of this quickly, I didn't want to go into the preachment early, but I'm going already. Here's where we go.
Because it's not fun to sit in that stuff, right? Because nothing happens, nothing changes. So I think it's great.
Yeah, if you wanted to snap out of it, this is what you got to be down with, all right? You do know the state that you enjoy. That's what you know at that time. You know you enjoy being happy. You know you enjoy probably being sometimes in nature and feeling calm and feeling peaceful and all these different things. So your priority at that instant, actually, instead of going into the despair that we just spoke about, is to bring yourself back to that state that you enjoy. Because naturally, if you're in that state that you enjoy, your environment will start to be supportive of that, just like when you did the other thing, right? So your first priority when faced with that beautiful blank canvas that scares you is to change your mind about what that blank canvas means, right? To see that blank canvas can actually reflect the fulfillment, the peace that you have inside. And that you may not know the exact how in terms of whether you're going to be a healer, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you have in mind, but you do know that the end result is that you're fulfilled because you're beginning in the end. That's how it works. You begin in the end. If the end is that you're going to be fulfilled, naturally, whatever course of action you take in between those two lines, between those 2 points, will be fulfilling to you. So you've already guaranteed that within yourself, and then whatever you create from that point is created in a place of fulfillment. It is a true creation. It's not a creation out of need or trying to fill some void that you feel inside, or feeling depleted, or feeling despair, feeling lonely, all these things. are just in our mind. And if we can allow ourselves to go to that place, we can walk a beautiful path towards that. Right? So I hope this is landing. And that's one of the ways out of that, right?
And the image I kept getting when you were talking about that is if ever you've sat in front of a computer and went to go write something and you have this blank page, and then someone says, okay, now write a book. You're like, oh, look, I don't even know where to start, right? Yeah. Or you start with an actual blank canvas, and if you're painting and you see all the colors, you're like, I love all the colors. I don't even know which one to start with. I don't know. What am I going to draw? Ooh. Do I draw anything? What do I paint? I have no idea. There's so much I could do with these colors and this paintbrush and this canvas. And the simplest thing to do is to just Gabriel goes, dip your paint and start. You just start. And then what happens is all of a sudden, as you're painting, something emerges.
That's it.
And usually what you do is you go with, like Gabriel said, the feeling. Yeah. When you look at a whole, let's say you have 100 different colors in front of you to choose from. Ooh. You usually go with the color that you love the most.
Yellow.
For me, I'd be like,
yellow's not my favorite color.
Mine would probably be like sparkly turquoise or like a shimmery corally gold right now or something, a rose gold. Those would be my favorite colors, right? And so for you, like, I know we're joking and playing with this, but that's really how it is. It's like you pick the color or the emotion or the frequency that you resonate with. It feels good. At that point in time, yes. And then you dip your brush in the paint and you just start and you go. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and you have this wave of inspiration or you have this thought or you have this feeling and you're following the flow. Mm-hmm. And so some of you might have a very clear vision where you're like, I know I want to paint a flower. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So you go and you paint a flower. Some of you might not know, and it might be that there's so much that you could do.
You might not know what you're painting. Mm-hmm. Your painting might be abstract, but it'll still please you.
And it'll be beautiful.
Yes.
And so it's really, in creating that vision for what's next, it's starting with the feeling, like Gabriel said. What draws you? What calls you? What inspires you? How do you want to feel? What do you want to dance with? What do you want to play with? Do you want to play more in nature? Do you want to actually dance more? Do you want to sing? Do you want to paint? Do you like this color? Do you like that emotion? And you start with that. And as you start with that, you're getting yourself into such beautiful vibrational alignment with the higher version of you that this magical, beautiful energy just starts to sparkle on in and sparkle on down, and you feel lit up and you feel inspired. And all of a sudden, maybe new ideas pop into your mind that you're like, oh, I've never thought about that. That would be really cool. That would be so much fun. Yep. I had an idea planted in my mind from one of our business coaches the other day because she just moved to a new area and I'd never heard of this place before. And I just loved, like, every time I'd see her, I was like, I love where she is. I love the energy. It feels so lovely. I went and looked at pictures and I'm like, I never thought to go there before. And now it's planted as a seed because it felt really good. Just like, remember what that happened with us where we went last summer or last winter.
Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Puerto Vallarta. Yeah. It's a place that I had never been. Same with Gabriel. And then all of a sudden the seed got planted and people were talking about it. And then we saw pictures and we're like, oh, that's so beautiful. And then we ended up being there, right?
A beautiful experience there.
And so that's what can happen sometimes if you're willing to let go of control, if you're willing to let go of the rigidity, if you're willing to just be open to the flow. Yes. But also allowing yourself to start, right? Not staying in the swirl of the uncertainty and the overwhelm and the spinning and, oh my God, I don't know what to create next because there's so many things I could create. It's choosing. And I find that when I choose with the feeling and I lead with that, miraculous things come. Definitely. And then what happens is the vision starts to solidify. So it can be one of two ways. I really is what we're describing, right? We're describing one way is starting with the feeling and allowing the vision to naturally unfold through you, and all the parts and pieces get filled in, and then you're like, wow, that's so beautiful. The other way is to maybe start with I want to draw a flower. Okay, great. Or you might know I want to start a business, or I want to create this, or I want to become that, or I want to open up a center for healing,
the process gets refined as you go, which is beautiful. Right?
Exactly. And that's the cool thing about vision is that it is always refining. Even with paintings, right? Like people are always like, oh, I could add a little this or add a little that or shift it here or shift it there. It's not locked in stone. Just because you have a vision for something doesn't mean that is how it has to be concrete.
Exactly.
Vision is ever unfolding and it's growing and it's shifting and refining, and so are you.
We should have titled this one Life is Your Artwork or something like that, right? Yeah, because that's really what it boils down to, right? You're living into your experience and you're crafting it as you go. You're molding it as you go, right? Even when I say we jump to the end and we go into the emotional space about it or get into the space that we know we're going to arrive at, it's the same principle, because in that moment you're choosing an emotion to apply to life. And the application of that emotion results in you taking specific actions, having specific attitudes, and having experiences that align with that. So you're still coloring, but just you're coloring from a little further back, right? That's it. It's the same
and
process.
I think it's important for you to recognize what flow feels good for you right now.
Yes.
Because there's certain times where you do have a very clear vision. You either came in with it, you know it, a seed got planted, or you're like, yes, I absolutely feel this. I know this. I want this. I choose this. I totally can see this unfolding. Yes. That's coming with a vision that is already solidified and concrete in your mind. And if that's where you're at, the next step for you would still be to start to create it, right? Would be to take a step toward it, take a step toward that vision. So it could be feeling into the feeling a little bit more. It could be sharing the vision. It could be like in our creation container, which is our small mastermind that we do. And people sharing what they're creating. And then how do we support that? It could be attuning your energy further to that. It could be drafting it out. It could be, if you're a writer, you start writing it out. Some of you like to plan. Some of you like to map. That is totally cool. And it's not the only way, right? So I want you to be aware that there are different ways to create your vision, and all of it's beautiful. So that's one flow. The other flow, again, is being just open. Open to whatever this new possibility is, being open to a new vision. I love both states. I've done both.
I love it. I love both states too. And the action-oriented space is beautiful. From my perspective, the action-oriented space is very beautiful, because as you step into action, your mind itself is believing more and more that something is being done towards your life. So you start to feel more at ease. You start to feel like, yes, I'm in the flow. Things are going well. Even if it isn't your perfect picture as yet, you know that you're getting there. You know that you're now drawing the outline, or you're feeling what it feels like to see that outline come in. And then after a while, it starts to make sense. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, whoa, did I do that? Whoa. And then all of a sudden you're happy. You're enjoying what you're creating. You're enjoying it, and that feeling propels you even further to create even more beautiful things with new ideas and continue to build upon that. Right? So it's just a beautiful experience, and it goes hand in hand, the action-oriented stance and the stance of sitting in that feeling into what it already feels like to be complete with it. They go hand in hand and mesh into the beautiful picture that you get to experience as your life. And
feeling into that flow, to be able to dance with all of that. And I think that's kind of a place where a lot of people are right now at this particular time when we're recording this. A lot of people have experienced some big changes, and plans that they may have had are gone. Ideas that they had are gone. Maybe not even an option right now because of the way the world is. So people are kind of freaking out, being like, okay, so now what do I do? What do I create? And with so much uncertainty too, as to, well, I don't know what the state of the world is going to be in, and I don't know what's going to happen next. And what I've been saying to all of our clients is, you still create. Even if the world is falling apart out there, you still create, because this is your world, this is your experience, this is your life. Sometimes the old has to fall in order for our creations to match the energy of what's to come. So there's always something new being created, even out there, right? In quotation marks, out there. And sometimes out there has to change in order for this in here creation to rise and have something to stand upon. So that's how I always look at it, is even if the world seems shaky and it's falling apart or things are unknown, I'm still creating in here. For one, it gives me a peace of mind within myself. It brings back that power back to me to go, wow, I am the creator of this reality, this version, this experience. And then it's fun. It's actually, I really enjoy the process of dreaming and creating and thinking and expanding and allowing in and dancing with all of it, whether it be the feeling or the vision or the thought, and allowing that to move through me to fruition. It's so joyful. It's so joyful. And what will happen is you'll find then you're not getting caught in all the fall. You can watch it. It's kind of like watching a movie where you're like, whoa, look at all that just fell apart. Whoa, right? And you're not having that same like dramatic, the world is just falling apart. You're like, whoa, okay, well maybe that had to fall in order for this to rise. Maybe that had to move away so that this new thing has a place to stand upon. And either way, you're centered within yourself. You're still centered within yourself, in your creations, in your feeling, in the flow, even the action. And some people will say, yeah, but I can't take a step because I'm waiting for this to happen. There's still steps that you can take. Spirit always has a way. Your mind might not know the way. Your ego, most of the time, doesn't really know the way.
Will not know the way.
Right? Well, and your spirit, though, it does.
It does.
Your spirit knows the way. Yes. And so then it might be about coming back inward again, connecting to that higher energy, that higher consciousness, and listening. So I've got this dream, I've got this vision, I've got this idea, I've got this feeling, even if it's a feeling. Spirit says, Creator, what is that next step? Show me. I'm willing to take it. Even if it's a non-step, I'm willing. Show me. In this moment, I surrender. And when you can start to play in that way, the vision, it's amazing. The vision starts to unfold. The step starts to unfold. Sometimes non-step unfolds and they're like, you just got to play today. And you're like, you want me to just go play today? Yes, I want you to go play today. I want you to enjoy your life and your kids and your family and outside and go play and jump around and dance. We want you to play. Okay. And it's really about trusting that too. Not every day is supposed to be a work day, right? You know, like there's creation and there's flow. There's moving forward. There's stepping back. There's allowing ourselves to expand. There's a moment of stillness. It is a dance. And it's really about each of us tuning into what is that flow for you right now. And there's always vision. Oh my gosh. There's always ideas. There's no shortage ever.
Consciously creating in love is joy. Right? When you fall into that space and you're creating and you're just expressing what's in you and extending it to the world around you, that's a joyful feeling. You get to recognize what's in there. You get to realize what's in that bucket, right? And when you see what's in that bucket and you feel it come through you and you know it's pleasurable, you know it's pleasing, you get a greater appreciation of the self. That vibration itself is beautiful. It forms your life in wonderful ways. So understand, you're not looking for something to fill your bucket. You're just looking at what's already there and beginning to express it. Just like we said with the abstract painting, you have all this already in you. Can you feel into it and use it by extending it, by sharing it? It may be through you serving tea sometime or doing something kind, passing by a stranger and smiling and saying hi or something like that. These ways of expression allow you to know that there's something in you that can touch something in them and light them up, which means you have that light in you, you have that goodness in you, right? That makes you aware of the self. So then your life, as I said, is the artwork. As with everything you interact with, everything you look at, everything you touch, everything you feel, you're either expressing what's really in you or you're forming some idea of yourself that's not true, right? As we said, if you can start in that space of being connected, then what you're actually doing is expressing exactly what's real, what's true, what you value. And so your life becomes more valuable. Your art piece starts to look better. It starts to feel better. And you rise in that way. Okay?
And so what's next? Your vision? What is the vision for yourself? And what's next? You just start with where you are right now. You start with the feeling. You start with the flow. You start with the idea. And then take it in, deepen that experience, deepen the richness of that, and invite in your higher self and let it help guide what is that next step. But don't stop dreaming or visioning just because the world out there might seem a little crazy. Right? You want to keep visioning. You want to keep visioning. You want to keep dreaming. You want to keep that momentum, that flow going. Spirit doesn't sleep in that way.
You sure right?
It just keeps creating, and you have the power to do that too.
If you were painting an art piece and you made a little error, you could be like, "Oh, it's done," and throw your painting aside and go into a tantrum about it. Or you can realize, wait a minute, this little piece here, I could do this with it. I could put a little white on it or something and make it a little different. And then through that sort of attitude, you make the edits for yourself. So even if something seems to go wrong in life, it's not the end of the world. There is still room to make change, to improve and make that picture beautiful still. Like the artist that's working right now on your piece, right? Yeah, there's a piece that's being worked on. And there was a chain in a certain place on the piece. and the chain was replaced by a feather and a wing of a bird, and it worked perfectly. And this is what I'm talking about. Even if we're physically painting and it shows up in a way where there's a slight error, we just make the correction for that error, right?
Instead of throwing out the whole piece and being like, it's garbage.
I'm never gonna get it.
That's right. I know. Don't be so quick to throw in the
Holy
towel.
moly. Yeah.
You know, and this is where we're at right now on planet Earth. There's a lot of changes that are happening, and it's requiring us to refine as we go. And refine as we grow.
Yes.
So every time you grow, there's a new idea that drops in. There's a new version of you that emerges. So you go back to your artistry table and you refine and you allow that next version of you to emerge.
Yep, and have that beautiful patience with yourself as well. Don't get frustrated. Like, I don't know if any of you guys are a Sesame Street generation.
Yeah.
But there was this guy who used to play the piano, I can't remember.
I can't remember.
And he would play a few notes and get freaked out and smash his head on the piano and everything. Oh, I'm never going to get it. And all of that stuff, right? But that's the point. Don't be that guy.
No, you don't have to be like that.
Don't be frustrated with yourself. You're learning. We're all learning. Every single day we learn new things. And we might have to paint that chain into a feather on that picture, right?
Exactly.
We might have to make a difference. We might have to make a change. And that's okay to be accepting of that change. Yeah.
And I would say if you want any further support with this, feel free to jump on over into our amazing private Facebook group, which is now called Light Ascension Collective. And so the URL link for that one is www.facebook.com/groups/Light Ascension Collective. And we're hosting an amazing healing and transformation workshop on May 10th. So pop on over to Light Ascension Collective, or you can jump on over into the pop-up group, which is called 5-Day Healing Workshop. So again, if you search the in Facebook groups, you'll find the 5-Day Healing Workshop with Gabriel and I. Pop on over there. It's going to be an amazing transformation workshop. We can't wait to connect with you more as we continue this journey of elevation and rising consciousness and elevating, because we have so much goodness yet to create and experience on this earth. We are just getting started. So we love you. We appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here and a part of our community.
So grateful for you. Have a beautiful one. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rising Consciousness Show today. To join our Facebook group, all you need to do is go to www.facebook.com/groups/I Rise and Thrive.